We've seen a lot of other Avengers issues, but now it's time for a true relaunch of the Avengers. So 2015, all new, all different. The champions. I mean, the Avengers. Why not? Hey everybody, this is Perch. In 2015, Mark Waid came into the Avengers, and part of the background at the time of him coming into the Avengers was that he was going to bring kind of some fresh faces to the mix, that he was going to really tap into the youth coming up as part of the all new, all different kind of mandate of where things are going. And one thing that just, regardless of whether you love Mark Waid, hate Mark Waid, one thing that's always odd to me about comics is whenever they say, hey, we want to really tap into the youth, we want to get some of these new characters, not these stodgy kind of old characters. We want to bring some of this new stuff up. They always go for these creators who have long kind of backgrounds and resumes at working with these the old characters, not the new characters. I mean, Mark Waid had a long history of working with the Fantastic Four, had a run that was pretty celebrated there, did the work with the Flash, and so this idea of like, hey, we really want to bring in the kids of the Marvel Universe and the new faces of the Avengers. Let's grab Mark Waid. It's a weird choice to me. And again, I'm not saying that I know that whenever you say Mark Waid's name, you get polarization of people who love him, hate him, etc. But it always seems surprising to me. And it's not just Mark Waid. I mean, they did those kinds of things with Kurt Busiek back in the day, and there's just been others. Anyway, what be that as it may. So this issue, just for some little additional context, it's coming in right before standoff. I think Captain America is at this point, I believe he's revealed to be a secret Hydra Nazi agent. The Inhumans are still getting pushed really, really hard at Marvel, and they're wanting to kind of deprioritize some of the major characters, the core characters, and really bring new faces to everything. So the comic leads right off with almost a Kitty Pryde, "You're a jerk" moment, and Miss Marvel and her big giant hand kind of pointing at Nova's face. Miss Marvel, for one more bit of context here, was fairly popular at this time. Her series had done fairly well, and it was at least seen as relatively successful in terms of creating a new character, a new thing. And so this very first scene of "You're a jerk" actually kind of ties into the second part of the comic. This comic has 2 bits to it. So it's actually kind of an odd Avengers issue where that's concerned. But as soon as we get past the "You're a jerk" moment, we get the classic Avengers Assemble moment. So we move, we segue away to a character we do recognize. This is Sam Wilson, who is still Captain America at this point, not the Falcon. And he's getting a chance to do something heroic. A car is careening off of a bridge, and he does a pretty cool scene where he throws the shield through the van, rescues the whole family and the dog, and soars up while Red Wing grabs the shield and gets them to safety. It's a good hero moment. It's actually part of the problem. I give Mark Waid a lot of credit here. Sam Wilson, they did a very poor job of giving him big heroic kind of moments. And this is saving the family from the car, but it plays really well. Kubert, Adam Kubert did a great job. Not Kubert. He did a great job illustrating this. So it's a nice scene. It's a nice, good heroism and all the crap of Axis kind of evil Sam Wilson or the is there racism that was kind of going on. Unfortunately, 1 page later, he saves him. And Sam Wilson kind of, so a little girl says, "Will you buy Girl Scout cookies?" And the 2 girls, a white girl and a black girl, start arguing over, buy some cookies. And he's only got $5, so he can only buy 1 box of cookies. And so everybody takes out their cameras to see which one's he going to pick. Is he going to pick the black girl or the white girl? Which girl asked first? And so it's I hate that immediately we're diving right back into this. We spent 2 pages on this of Tony Stark is there in the background. He's broke. We get 2 pages of "buy my cookies, don't buy my cookies." We see the black girl, we see the white girl, until finally on the 3rd page we get to a creative solution where instead of buying any cookies, got to watch that diabetes. Sam Wilson and Tony Stark basically take photos for, with the kids, and it's cute. So Sam and Tony have a little conversation, and it's, Tony is broke because he went into space, but he's still got a flying car and a suit and everything. He's cash poor. It's setting up the new kind of status quo of the Avengers, which is they have no cash. And, Parker Industries has got all the money right now. And so they, as they're flying around, Avengers Tower has been purchased somewhere. And you get the sense, because we get this guy kind of, mysterious figure with a green outfit, that it's Loki. It's not Loki. Spoilers, it's Kang. But they're basically moving some stuff around. They're clearing out Avengers Tower. And I love all this. There's probably a bunch of super secret technology in there we just left laying around. It's like, why are you leaving your dangerous crap laying around? This has happened before. But suddenly, with a bunch of fire and lightning comes Warbringer. This was a character. This is going to be our villain for the first 3 issues. Warbringer is a character from Nova, which is a bold choice because nobody's reading Nova really at this point, or at least its sales were low. So we've got what we think is Loki. Even there's some little teases like, I'm good with Chitauri, but 192 words for hate. You should be on Twitter. It's nice that in 2015, Waid is referencing his various social media squabbles. Thanks for that. But anyway, so they could do some back and forth, talky, and the guy with the Kang, he is manipulating this Warbringer to have a fight with the Avengers, and just as they're making their evil plan, it's revealed that Miles Morales has been just hanging out, listening to this whole conversation, and being sneaky. So he gets thrown out of the building, saves somebody from falling rock. Sam Wilson and Tony Stark arrive. Tony Stark's car turns into a big kind of Hulkbuster Iron Man outfit, and they crash in and immediately start fighting Warbringer. But Warbringer is far more powerful, just wipes out Stark and Falcon, or Captain America, Sam Wilson, and Miles Morales, Spider-Man. This was a period where a lot of characters are getting new identities from people who already had identities, which was awesome when you're trying to do reviews for a comic and you have to, use 5 names to reference everything. Anyway, this whole first 3-parter would lead to Nova and the Vision and Thor. This is Jane Foster Thor. See, there it is again. And finally, Miss Marvel kind of coming into the scene, teaming up, being the Avengers of all Avengers, to defeat Warbringer and, save the planet, save the galaxy, save the world from certain annihilation. And there you go. And then they form the Avengers, and they're very happy. There's some cute scenes here where Miss Marvel, who's a big fangirl for the Avengers and heroes in general, is getting able to join this team in a graveyard. It's some ominous stuff there. And so we're getting an Avengers of different people. So we get a Vision that's different from normal. We get a Nova that's not the Nova we know. We get a Thor that's not the Nova we know. We get Miss Marvel that's not the Miss Marvel we know. Basically, everyone but Tony Stark is kind of a new version of a character to be this new Avengers. And then a cute scene where they all give a thumbs up. So that's how the Avengers are formed. It's a bunch of kind of new faces. It's a lot like the whole Generation 5 plans of DC of new faces in existing costumes, and how are they going to come together, and how are they going to work as a team. And the answer to that is very little. So the comic actually does not go on for very long. It kind of stumbles into Civil War II. I forget if it goes like 16 issues. It doesn't go much beyond that. It's about where it wraps up. And then the team splits. We get a new Avengers #1 a year later. And the youthful heroes in our bonding exercise exit stage right and go to join the champions. So it's kind of a Avengers and Switch. I guess I don't know what analogy you want me to use here. But at any rate, it was relaunch time at Old Marvel. So 2016, it would relaunch again. And the whole let's combine everything is kind of moved away in favor of bringing Spider-Man and others, the Peter Parker version of Spider-Man, back onto the team. So The second story is by Mahmud Asrar, who is basically, it's a Miss Marvel centric story. We're going to see Miss Marvel, we're going to see Nova, and there's a big monster blowing up the Circle Q, and they are saving civilians and trying to wrestle these things to the ground, being heroic, and they succeed. And then there's some mild kind of not flirting exactly, just Miss Marvel's is this is Miss Marvel when she was written better. She was written as being very naive, very unsure of herself and her powers. She had that hero spirit. But what's weird is over the course of 1 year, Miss Marvel would basically transition into becoming much more of an authoritative, comfortable with her leadership, which kind of, hurt the soul of her character. It wasn't the same kind of story they were doing in her solo comics. All very weird. But in this second story, basically Nova kind of tracks her down to an alley where she's getting changed, because that's where people, get changed out of their clothes is hobo alleys. Sam decides to unmask and reveal his secret identity to Miss Marvel. She doesn't want to do it, so he feels like a big clown, and she doesn't want to see him again, and she's frustrated by him, and this leads to the "you're a jerk" kind of moment we saw at the beginning. So, like I said, this was Marvel trying to accomplish a bunch of things. We had new characters, both youthful, kid characters. We also had characters in different outfits than they're used to, as they were trying to make that happen. And it would be good to know if this was, actually, what was Marvel's plan here? Did they think that this was going to be the Avengers? It was going to go for another 10 years? Did they always assume it was going to be a stopgap, and a year later they would more or less revert kind of their original plan, still under Mark Waid? And a couple years after that, they would completely revert their plan to a very classic Avengers of Captain America and, Iron Man and, Thor and everything else. I always wonder, because it comes across very, word is janky. It comes across very poorly planned in a lot of cases, because these characters just kind of come in and they go, and they just, it's like when Storm was brought in to New Avengers, and she showed up, she did a couple issues, and then they never really did anything with her. And so you ask yourself, like, was the plan to actually have her being a member of the team? Why do we go through all this effort for like 2 issues and then she's gone? It always feels like there's not a lot of thinking that goes into all this. And this comic had that feel to it. It just felt like there wasn't a solid plan, and they just kind of stumbled into things, and then a year later, like, let's do something new. And so I always wonder, at what point were they pulling the plug and deciding that they were going to go into a different direction? It's always hard to tell. Anyway, this was Avengers in 2015, all new, all different, all bold, all exciting, all. Did you like this issue? Did you like this run? Do you remember this run? Let me know in the comments below. Like, subscribe. Hey, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. I need your subscribers. I need your friends. I need everyone. Let's do a big marketing push for Perch for some reason. It will be good. Follow me on Twitter or Facebook at Comic Perch, and thanks for listening.